Okay, we're going to demonstrate the ABOT 0501 crimp tool. It produces 1.5 tons of force. It's typically used to crimp insulated, non-insulated terminal lugs, coax applications, and RF connector type applications from 10 gauge and smaller. It does have a tool balancing ring here where you could hang it on a tool balancer. It will typically come in a kit with 2 batteries and a battery charger. It will accommodate your standard Astro crimp dies. In this case, we're using an Astro crimp die that'll crimp 10 to 12 and then 14 to 26 gauge terminal lugs. You'll notice the head rotates 360 degrees if you need to move the tool into a certain position. You can then simply insert your die, the lower half, the upper half. The die will have a locator on it. This tool has also got a circular ring right here where you could mount it on a crimp tool stand or a base mount stand where the tool will sit on your workstation. You will then simply take your insulated terminal lug, insert the terminal lug, which will be held by your locator. We put it into the 10 to 12 gauge application. We're going to take our stripped wire, we're going to insert it, the locator will stop the conductor from going all the way through your terminal lug. Then we're going to actuate the tool. It's going to make the complete crimp and release. If for some reason you need to adjust the die, the tool will stop if you release the actuator, and there is an emergency release that will release the die. Since our crimp is already made, we'll go ahead and release the locator, and you can see that it made the correct crimp on our terminal lug. In order to insert and remove the dies, it's very simple. We're going to push on this button on the top, and that will remove our top half. You do not want to actuate the tool without a die in it. So in order to take the bottom die out, we're going to actuate it slightly upward. We're going to put our tool release in here, or a die release. We're going to hit the emergency release, which is going to take the lower half of the die out. As I mentioned, you do not want to actuate the tool without a die in it. And to insert the die, you simply put the bottom half in, insert the top half. It's very easy, it's very quick to do, and then you can actuate the tool by pressing on the actuator button. Once the tool makes the crimp, it will release. And that is the ABOT 0501 crimp tool.
Checking calibration of Astro M22520/2-01 crimping tool using Astro M22520 3-1 go, no-go gauge. First, rotate the gauge to find the proper gauging setting for the tool. Selector setting number 8 is used for the 2-01. Rotate the selector knob to the proper setting. Position the crimp tool with the bayonet socket facing away from you. Cycle the tool to the fully closed position. Insert the green go pin between the indenter opening. The pin should pass easily between the jaws. Next, attempt to insert the red no-go pin through the indenter opening. The pin should not pass between the jaws. An additional procedure to ensure that the ratchet release is at the correct dimension can be performed by gently cycling the tool towards the closed position until the indenters contact the outer diameter of the red go, no-go pin. Do not crimp the pin. Release the handles and the tool should remain in the closed position.
We're going to demonstrate the EMC 3300 crimp tool. It produces 1.5 tons of force. We have this die set up for red, yellow, and blue insulated terminal lugs. There are multiple die series that will go into this crimp tool. This is how you actuate the tool. You'll simply push down on the handle, and you can see that it will load or hold your die or your lug in place while you're crimping. You'll actuate the tool. After it completes the crimp, it'll release the handle. If you want to load your terminal lug into the crimp tool, you're simply going to put it in here, and the tool will hold your lug in place without making the crimp. That way you can verify that the tongue of your lug is in the correct placement. You'll take your wire. In this case, it's a 10 gauge wire, and we're going to go into a 10 to 12 gauge insulated terminal lug. You'll simply insert your wire. We will actuate the tool. We'll go ahead and pull down on the handle. It will make the crimp. We'll release, and you can simply remove your terminal lug. Again, we'll insert our terminal lug, ensuring that we have proper placement. Our terminal lug is lined up horizontally. We'll take our 10 to 12 gauge or 10 gauge wire, insert it into our terminal lug, make the crimp, complete the crimp, release, remove our terminal lug. This tool is very small. It's about 7 inches in length. It produces 1.5 turns of force, and it's the EMC 3300. It will also come with a battery charger. Okay, we're going to demonstrate the WSP 1014 strip tool. It's a pneumatic powered stripper that will accommodate all of the ideal strip blades that are gauges 10, 12, and 14. It has got a smaller cylinder than other tools in the past. It has got an air speed valve which will control the speed of the tool to make it go slower or faster. It's got a lever on this side of the tool to actuate the tool. So we'll simply push on the tool and it will actuate the tool. The tool does have a guide post on it where you can put a strip length wire stop on here, so you can adjust your strip length either smaller or larger depending on what strip length that you require. You can simply lock that back down in place with the knurled knob. As I said, this tool will accommodate the 10, 12, and 14 gauges. So if you have a 10 gauge wire type, you put it in your 10 gauge slot, produce the strip, we'll let it go, and it will give you a quick, clean strip. These blades will work on multiple wire types, but there are various blades for every wire type that's out there. It'll drop your slugs out on your workstation so you won't have any FOD. It's called the WSP 1014. WSP 1014. Okay, we're going to demonstrate the twist strip, the TSK 7000 QC. So it is a twist strip tool which is used for shielded twisted pair. It can also be used for single or multi-conductor, coax conductor type cable, and you'll notice the tool has got two blades on the tip of it, so you can pull back the actuator arm, which will open up the blades. You can easily change the blades out by pushing down on this little lever. You take the blade off. On the other side, you can take the blade off and you can switch the blades out if you want to go to various wire types. In order to put the blades back on, you'll just feed the blade back on there, lock the arm down, put the other blade on, lock the locking arm down, and you're set. Now this is a standard piece of M27500 shielded twisted pair. So the first thing that you'll notice is it does have a strip length gauge on here, so we can adjust the strip length that we want to strip. We can push this down here. It's graduated by 1/2 inch marks on the strip length gauge, so if we wanted to do 2.5 inches, we would pull it out to about 2.5 inches or 3 inches if that's what you desired. You'll tighten it down. There again, you can pull back the actuator arm. We're going to insert the shielded twisted pair, and we're going to lock the actuator arm back down, which is going to wrap around the cable, and we're simply going to pull the cable, which is going to produce a strip, and it's going to strip the length of the shielded twisted pair. You can then simply grab your insulation, your outer jacket, and you can take it off. Then you'll take your set of cutters and you can make a flush cut around the circumference of your jacket there, or of your around your insulation and around your conductor. You can pull this back and you can do whatever you need to do with your shielded braid. So it also comes in a kit that you can have various blade types if you want to do various types of shielded twisted pair, coax, or single conductor. So you could get that in a kit form that will cover multiple wire types. Again, very simple. You can adjust your strip length gauge, pull back your actuator arm, insert your wire, push the actuator arm back down, produce your strip, remove your jacket, and then you can trim your outer insulation off.